He's former Deputy Assistant Treasury Secretary Aaron Klein, and he's now a senior fellow in economic studies at the Brookings Institution here in D.C. Joins me via Zoom. Aaron, good to see you again. You know, you told our team that Trump's plan is bad math and is maybe even an insult to math. Tell me what you mean by that.
Yeah, so I was a math major in college, and I'm fond of the expression that putting numbers on a page doesn't mean that you're doing math. And what he did by calling these things reciprocal tariffs just is not accurate. What they are is some measure of the difference in trade in goods only, not goods and services, which is how trade is usually done, multiplied by what they said were nice constants, which actually just resulted into multiplying a number by one, meaning it's just the number. So, for example, the country of Israel has zero tariffs on any good from America, yet we gave them a 17% reciprocal tariff, which is just based on the fact that over time, we've imported more goods from Israel than Israel's imported from America. So this is not related to people's tariff rates. Witness the fact that an island inhabited only by penguins was given a 10% tariff rate. I mean, what are the penguins doing to us?
We already talked about sending our Terry Moran down there to interview the penguins, but that's a whole nother story. All right, how much short-term pain are we actually looking at here? And do you think that we could go into a recession?
Oh, look, I think a recession is absolutely on the table because it's not just these tariffs, right? First, it's a slash and burn of Doge, cutting off government contracts, cutting off research to science. Then it's Trump's war of words, discouraging foreigners from coming to America. Look, foreign tourism is a massive American export. It may not be obvious to most folks, but when people come to Las Vegas or Disneyland and spend money from abroad, that counts as an export. That's them coming to America. Right now, Canada, the number one country that sends visitors to Las Vegas, their booking for US air travel this summer is down 70%. So what you're seeing is Trump is attacking the travel and tourism industry. He's attacking the manufacturing and trade industry. He's attacking a whole host of science and other industrial complexes that are involved in the government. And these things add up. And so you see a lot of banks and folks are putting probability of a recession up to 50%. I think Mark Zandi from Moody's, Goldman Sachs, other people have raised their chances of a recession incredibly highly in just 3 months. One point I'd make here is every recession has a cause, right? COVID, the subprime mortgage crisis, the stock market.com bubble. This recession could be the first one caused by a president with bad policies.
So let me ask you, because you used to work in the Treasury Department. In an interview today, the Treasury Secretary said that the White House probably wouldn't negotiate with world leaders on these tariffs, but could negotiate with the business community instead. You used to work at Treasury. Does that make sense to you?
Not at all. Tariffs are formal agreements between nations. You know, Trump says he's the art of the deal in negotiation. And that, business by business, that creates incredible amount of uncertainty. When you're trying to deal with global trade, one of the most important things is long-term stability. Do I know what these costs are going to be if I build a factory in X, right? If Nike's going to move their production of shoes from country X to country Y, do they know how that's going to handle and be treated over 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Trump changing the tariffs based on a phone call on a daily basis is a huge amount of uncertainty. And you don't need a PhD in economists to know that businesses hate uncertainty and uncertainty is bad for business.
Aaron Klein, I always appreciate your insight. Didn't sound really like a lot of good news, but you're giving us a good reality check, which we always appreciate. Thanks, Aaron.